I want to ask you first about Hamza Chowdhury, that the club have commented on this week. He's apologised for some ill-advised, shall we say, social media comments a few years ago. He was only 15 at the time. What have you said to him, and how have the club dealt with it?
Well, I think firstly it was something that young Hamza wanted to deal with. He, like you say, he was a 14, 15-year-old boy at the time. And I think it's all in here. Certainly at 21 years of age, you're totally different now to what you would have been back then. He was obviously very apologetic, and he wanted to put that out there. So that's something that has already happened, and he's obviously remorseful for his comments, of course. And like everyone, when you make a mistake, you learn from it.
Have you spoken to him?
Yeah.
The club's made it clear, I think, that there won't be any punishment. He's still a very young man. How is he in himself? Is he okay to play as far as you're concerned?
Yeah. Listen, he's absolutely fine. And like I say, when you're a kid, you'll make mistakes and you'll say things you just don't think. Maybe at 14, 15, you'll say something and then it gets thrown back at you 7 years later or 8 years later. So, but like I say, he understands his comments. That it's not really acceptable, and he'll learn from that. And like I say, he'll move on, because he's a great boy who he's a father. He understands that the comments weren't as you would expect, but like I said, he'll learn from it, and he's apologised.
Shinji Okazaki has confirmed he's going to leave the club in the summer. What are your thoughts there?
Well, he leaves a champion. He leaves, as I said, as a legend in the club's history. I've spoken to him on it and a number of weeks back, and I think at this stage of his career, he was wanting to go and have an opportunity to play maybe in Europe somewhere, with the opportunity to play as a striker. But his contribution at this club has been immense, and like I say, his smile, his enthusiasm, his quality, and like you say, he played a part in the great history here at Leicester City. So a few more games to go, and he wants to help the team finish as strong as we can, and like I say, and I'm sure he'll get that, shown that appreciation by the end of the season.
With him leaving, does that mean in the summer you're going to need more options up front? You'll be in the market for more forward players?
I think it's one, Rob, that we will just look to improve the squad in some of the areas that are important. And like I say, I'm very happy with the players that we have. A lot of the players, there's a lot of potential there to improve and develop. However, there are a few areas that we'll look to improve, and that might be one of them. It's
3 years ago today that Leicester won the title. It's probably been mentioned to you. Chelsea beat Spurs, and there was that infamous house party around at Jamie Vardy's house. Do you remember that? I mean, obviously you were looking from afar back then, but do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember watching the game, and then obviously the whole story around it was incredible. So, and it looked like it was a good party, that's for sure. But and rightly so. It was an amazing achievement, as we all know. One of the greatest moments in sport. Whatever code you're involved in, it was the story was just remarkable, and they deserved to party that night. So, but yeah, 3 years ago it was a great moment for the club, and like I say, hopefully there'll be many more great moments.
Okazaki moving on is another sign that squad that won the title is maybe breaking up a little bit and has to move on, and obviously it's inevitable that times change. But I wonder if, from your perspective, in some ways it's a good thing that Leicester have moved on from that. It is a new era, isn't it, after that title for you?
Yeah, but you have to constantly improve. I think that's what's key. Is those guys that created that incredible history, they're all champions, and the story will never ever be forgotten. They're truly legends here at the club. However, success, like I've said to the players, it's a moving target. You got to keep moving, you got to keep progressing, and that happens. Some of those players as well were probably at the latter stages of their career as well. So naturally, 3 years on, that bit older. So, but what we have at the moment is a really exciting group of young talents, with that mixture of senior players that that are really helping them and supporting them, and we want to keep evolving and improving, and that'll be our aim.
That result, that performance against Arsenal, showed what this team is capable of that you're talking about. What confidence does that give you and them with the games you've got to come?
Yeah, I was very pleased for the players. We showed very good control in the game. We played with a really good intensity. And what was very pleasing from my perspective is over the course of the 8 games, we played in one game with 10 men, and we've played in another game, against 10 men. And in both of those, we've showed different sides, different qualities, and coped with that very, very well. And I was particularly pleased with the control of the game when we got to play versus 10, because it's never easy. You see lots of results where it can go against you, but I thought the control and the domination in the game and the intensity in our game was very, very good. And I see it day on day, the players, really embracing our work and how much they want to put into improving. And like I said, it's always satisfying that as a coach, and to see that, that relationship between the training and the game is always nice. And like I say, we'll continue to work and hopefully be better.
Yuri Tielemans scored, and there were obvious chance of sign him up from the crowd. Because of the quality of his performances, and he's shown just what a good player he is, do you fear there's going to be some of Europe's big guns that you're going to have to compete with for his signature?
I don't fear. I think it's something he came here in January because he wasn't getting game time. And I think what Leicester City have shown him is the opportunity that is here for any player, and in particular a young player. He's come in at 21 years of age, really adapted very well. He's a very clever footballer, got big experience for such a young player. And what he has efficiency in his game. He creates goals and he scores goals. Still has a lot of development to make. But what he's shown here in the time that he's a very good young player. So he's got a wonderful platform and a great base here to continue that development if there's something that is agreed between the clubs. But in the meantime, he just continues to work well and hopefully see out the season strongly for us.
2 goals for Jamie Vardy again against Arsenal. That's 11 goals in his last 11 games now. He's nominated for the Premier League Player of the Month for April. He seems to have had a new lease of life with you in charge. Is there still more to come from him in your eyes?
I just think it's consistency. I think what Jamie for me is a player that from the outside looking in, you see a player that has got speed and is a natural goal scorer. You can see that. But it's always interesting when you come inside the building and work with someone close up, and then you see the real deal then. And for him, he's certainly that. He's up there in that top bracket of Premier League strikers. For his contribution in terms of, it's not just the goals. The goals is there, and you see that, and that's his job. But he's so clever in how he presses the game, and tactically he's someone that really sets it off at the top of the field for the team. And you only need to watch him, just his hunger and desire in the game. So for me, it's just about that consistency. All strikers are going to have spells where maybe they won't score, but how the team is set up and how we want to play, it's an aggressive game. It's a game that's based around creating opportunities and taking opportunities, and he's one of the best at it. So yeah, but he'll be reliant on the team. It's very much a team game, like you've seen with the goal with Casper. Wonderful vision from him, and something that we look at in training. But to execute it at that moment in the game was great. But no, Jamie won't be on his own. It's very much a team effort, but he's the guy that gets the goals, and he's masterclass at that.
So it was definitely an assist for Kasper Schmeichel. He was doing what it looked like.
It would have been very. Sorry,
you'd worked on it.
Yeah. No, we had looked at that. We've looked at it in a few games. But I think also what was good in that is when you look at our first game against Watford, we conceded a goal late on, and like I said, it wasn't that wasn't the crime. It's if you learn from it, that was important. And but we tried to make the pass into the striker. we learn from that, we reflect on it, and then you see, what when learning takes place, what can happen. So it was a great assist by him. He's got to be given big credit for that, because, like I say, you got to see it first of all, and then you got to be able to play it. And thankfully, he's one of the few keepers in the league that probably couldn't make that pass. So I was very pleased for him.
Manchester City, how good are they? There are people talking about them being the best Premier League side in a generation. Do you share that view?
Well, I think over time you'll see that, but there's no doubt. Last year and this year, the level of the game is at the very highest. It's a top class team with a coach who, for me, is a real pioneer of the modern game. A genius really in terms of some of the innovations he's put in place. Since he's been a coach. You look at how he's worked in Barcelona. They have a model, and he's obviously worked with the top players there, played there under Cruyff, so understands fully the philosophy there. But then to take that into Bayern Munich, and then to introduce fullbacks coming on the inside, and all the tactical innovations he produced there, which was incredible. To come into the Premier League, and probably most people saying you may not be able to play that way. Of course, the first season, and Pep needed to get the players that makes it work. But then after that first season, they've been absolutely incredible. We played them at Celtic in my first year, and you could still see, they were bedding into the concepts. But a brilliant team, and people look at how they work. There's so much work that goes into making the team play that way. I hear people talk about freedom. Not freedom. This is a team that's, lots of structure, lots of positioning, lots of analysing, lots of work on the training field in order to play that positional game. And I think he's a phenomenal coach. And like I say, he's produced a wonderful team over these last few years.
Obviously, if you win, you'll be a hero in Liverpool again. It goes without saying. And it was Manchester City who pinched the title from you in 2014. So I wonder, with those two things in mind, it would be extra special, wouldn't it, for you personally, to get a victory?
Not really. No.
Honestly?
Yeah, no. I'm employed by Leicester. My job was for Leicester City. People compare Liverpool now to then. There's no comparison really. Liverpool back then when I was there was at a different stage of their development. We had lots of young players, we had loan players. We went from 8th to 2nd within a couple of years, nearly won the title. So it's a different dynamic. But no, listen, we deserved to finish where we deserved that year, and which was 2nd. We just didn't quite go over the line over the course of 38 games, but we showed that with young players and with a way of working that it is possible. So a lot of those players, like Sir Jordan Henderson, who's a fantastic player. Jordan was a young player then, so those experiences he would have learned from. But for me, getting into this game, this is, I've been looking forward to every game since I've been here. Look forward to the Arsenal game, and now this is the next game. So it's exciting to be involved and being able to affect it. But my thoughts is purely for Leicester and for our team and helping us grow.
Good man, thank you. Team news, anybody struggling at this stage? It's still a few days to go, but are you aware of any injuries that might cause you problems?
Not at this moment in time. Like I say, there's a few days to go, but at this moment everyone is okay.
Thank you, mate. Good luck.
Pleasure.
Just going back to Manchester City and Liverpool, as outsiders, it's an amazing title race for all of us to look at. How much are you enjoying watching it from afar as well?
Well, I think both teams have been exceptional in their consistency and the level of their game. There's, like I say, the different styles, but both attacking, both creative. Both want to score goals, and both want to have intensity when they haven't got the ball. So yeah. But like I thought, it'll probably go right to the very end. But for us, our obviously concentration is on our next game, which is Man City.
And as good as Manchester City are and have been all season, this Leicester side beat them back in December, drew with them in the League Cup, going out on penalties. So your players must go there with great confidence.
Yeah, but we respect it'll be a tough game for us, but we have a game and a model of work that we believe can beat any team. In terms of the players are improving all the time. You're going to have to defend very, very well. You have to be strong, you have to be aggressive, you have to be hard to beat, you have to be compact. But from that base then, we know that we have speed in the team. We've got players that are incisive, they can make the last pass, get speed at the top of the field. So yeah, but the importance is to ensure that you defend well, you're aggressive, and we know we can do that. And then it's the case of then showing our qualities then when we have the ball.
The last game was back in December, so it's some time ago, but do you have a look at that game and see how Leicester did it back then?
Yeah, well, every game's different, but of course there's no secrets in it. You got to defend well, like we say, and then when the opportunities come, then you have to be able to take them. So like you say, the players will have that confidence that they know they can get a result. So and we'll take that confidence into the game.
Rob was talking about Hamza Chowdhury earlier on off the pitch. On the pitch, he had his first start under you last weekend, had a great game, some amazing tackles. Now, when I've spoken to some of your players in the past, they've told me he tackles just like that in training. Is he like that, and what sort of a lad is he like in training?
Well, as a boy, he's a fantastic young guy. So coming in and knowing a little bit about him before I arrived, but to get the chance to work with him, he's a really clever footballer. In training, he's played in a number of positions when he's been asked to play there, and he's very, very comfortable doing that. He's a player that, in terms of defensively, he's very strong. He's got great agility, so he covers the ground very quickly. He breaks up the game. But what he also has, he has quality. He serves the ball well. He's starting to understand what we ask for in those sort of positions that we ask him to play, the influence he needs to have, and I predict a big future for him. He's a big talent. He's been unfortunate he hasn't played before. We've went with a different sort of structure, but for this game we changed the structure, brought him in, and he's got the opportunity on the basis of how he's trained since I've been in. So it was great to see that, and like I said, there's a lot more development to come from him.
But he tackles like that in training as well.
He certainly does.
Hi, Brendan. Just going back to, of course, the anniversary today of Leicester City winning the Premier League. Does that achievement get more remarkable the longer time goes on when you look back at it, because of it almost has time to set in, and you look at the other teams and the quality that they have, and you look back and you think, how did that actually happen?
I think at the time it was an incredible story, and I think over time it will continue to be that. Like I say, it's in whatever code you're in, whether it's football, rugby, whatever sport, the story was absolutely phenomenal, based around belief, team spirit, quality, a togetherness. I think what it showed is that I think what the story gave everyone was that the impossible can become the possible. And that's something that is always great when you work in sport. And I think that there was, as I said, it was a really refreshing story for everyone involved in sport. And like I say, right throughout the world, I think everyone was so happy that Leicester went on and won it. So, but it's important that we can build on that. Like I say, it may have been a once in a lifetime possibility, but what you have to do is you have to grow from that and develop and evolve, and that's something that the club will continue to do, I'm sure.
Looking ahead to the game on Monday, Manchester City, how do you prepare your team to face a side with that much quality in pretty much every department?
We have to be very positive going into the game. You certainly can't be fearful. That's something that in these types of games you need to be. Like I say, first and foremost, you have to defend well. You have to be really strong. You have to be really aggressive. You have to be concentrated in the game. They're a team that are positioning is exceptional in the field. They cover the spaces inside and outside, so you have to be concentrated. You need that little bit of luck as well within the game, but then you have to be constant in the game as well yourself. You got to be looking for the moments to play out of pressure quickly, and you got to exploit the space, that they will leave. And that's something that this is a team at Leicester that can do that. So, but we're excited by the game. It's a fantastic challenge for us, and after our last game, we now go to the next game and look to put in a good performance.